Welcome back to our channel, and this is Loss of Indices part 2. We'll be going through 6 examples. So the first example we have is a to the power of 3, and that is to the power of 2, and we will times it by 2a squared, and it equals 2. So in the green color I'll be writing what I'm thinking in my head, so called. Okay, so the first part we're gonna use this rule. Yep. And we got a to the power of 3, and we will times it by 2 in the power, just like in the rule, so it will become a to the power of 6. Okay, so I will also move 2 in front because numbers will always go before letters. So we'll get 2, and then we have a to the power of 6 times a to the power of 2 that we have. And now we will combine 2 a's. So that's another rule we use, and we will get a to the power of 6, and we will be adding the powers, so it becomes a to the power of 8. And I will just write the final answer, and it becomes 2a to the power of 8. Okay, I will also show you some exam techniques. So what would be actually counted as a mark? For example, you would get a mark for this part, and that would be just 1 mark, and you get a 1 mark for your final answer. So let's look at our example number 2. So we have 3x squared, all in brackets, to the power of 3, and it is divided by x to the power of 4. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write it as a fraction, so the same part, so bracket 3x squared whole to the power of 3 over x to the power of 4. And the first thing I'm gonna look at is our numerator and try to simplify that. So the rule that we're using here will be rule number 4. So first we will split it 3 cubed times x squared altogether cubed. Okay, and that part will be our rule number 3. So 3 cubed becomes 27, and x becomes to the power of 2 times 3, just like the rule. So overall is 27x to the power of 6. And I'm just gonna write that in our numerator. So it's 27x to the power of 6 divided by x to the power of 4. Okay, and now to simplify it, we will just look at our x. So we're gonna use rule number 2. Okay, so when we divide, we subtract, so it will become x to the power of 6 over x to the power of 4, and we will just subtract power 6 minus 4, and we'll get x to the power of 2. Okay, and I'll just write that as answer, 27x to the power of 2. Again, exam techniques. So you will get 1 mark for writing it in this form, and then you'll get 1 mark for final answer. Again, it depends which part of the question this would be. Now we have our third example. So we have 20x to the power of 7 plus 15x cubed, and that will be all divided by 5x squared. And that equals, so it's a fraction. I'm gonna split it into 2 parts because there is 1 denominator, so I'm gonna get 20x to the power of 7 over 5x squared plus a separate fraction 15x cubed over 5x squared. And now we're gonna look at each fraction separately. So the first fraction, we're gonna look at the numbers first. So 20 divided by 5, that is 4. And then I will look at the x, so it's x to the power of 7 divided by x squared, we're using rule number 2, so we'll be subtracting the powers. That becomes x to the power of 7 minus 2, and that is x to the power of 5. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing to the second fraction. So we're going to have 15 divided by 5, which is 3, and then x to the power of 3 divided by x squared. We use the same rule again, number 2, so we'll be subtracting powers. It's x to the power of 3 minus 2, and it becomes x to the power of 1, which is just x. I'm going to write all of this together, so we have 4x to the power of 5 plus the same sign, and we have 3x. That's it, you can't simplify it anymore. So you have exam techniques, and you will get 1 mark for this step, just splitting it, and then the second mark would be just for your answer. The third mark, so you have 2 parts. Let's look at our example number 4. So we have 2a to the power of 8, and that will be divided by 3a squared times by 6a to the power of 5. Okay, because we have multiply and divide 2 operations, I'm gonna combine them, so I'm gonna write it as a fraction, and we'll get 2a to the power of 8 divided by 3a squared, and times all together by 6a to the power of 5. So now I'm gonna combine all the numbers first, so we'll get 2 over 3 times by 6, and 6 and 3 have common divider, which is 3, so I can simplify it. So if you divide 3 by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2, so you'll get a fraction simplified as 2 times 2, and it's 4. And now we're gonna look at our a's. So we have a to the power of 8. Okay, and we combine several rules, so we'll use rule 1 and 2. And I will just combine them in one go. So where you divide, you subtract 2, and where you multiply, you add 5. So that becomes just a to the power of 11. And I'm just going to write the final answer as 4a to the power of 11. So exam techniques, you will get 1 mark for your first step and the second mark for your final answer. We have our next question, number 5. So we have x to the power of 3 divided by x to the power of minus 3. So there's 2 ways you can look at it. You can apply 2 different rules. So I'm gonna go through both of them. Say we're looking at rule number 2. Okay, so x to the power of 3, and it's dividing, so we'll put minus, and I'm gonna put in brackets minus 3, okay, because that's what the power is of the bottom x, and minus minus gives you plus, so it becomes x to the power of 3 plus 3, which is just 6. Okay, if I use rule number 5, okay, so I'm just gonna look at 1 over x to the power of 3. So because it's negative power, we do 1 over x, and that is all to the power of 3. So I flip my fraction, it becomes just x over 1, or just x, and it's to the power of 3. So what our original question become is x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 3. And again, we just add the powers, so it becomes x to the power of 6. And that is my final answer. So as one of my steps, I'm gonna use the first method, so I'm gonna write my powers, and then the final answer, x to the power of 6. Exam techniques, you're just gonna get 1 mark for the final answer. And now our final example number 6, we will have 8 over 27 to the power of 2 over 3. Okay, so our power is a fraction, So that means we will have two operations. The denominator of the fraction will determine the root, so it's 3 root, and we have 8/27, and then the numerator is determine the index, which is 2, so it's all squared. Okay, first I'm gonna work out the inside of the bracket, which will be 3rd root of 8, and that is 2, and then we're gonna have a 3rd root of 27, which is 3. Okay, so I'm gonna write it now. The inside of the bracket simplified, 2/3, and it's to the power of 2, and just work that out, and it's 2 squared is 4, and denominator is 3 squared is 9. Exam techniques, you're gonna get 1 mark for writing it in expanded form and 1 mark for your final answer. Remember, if your index is a fraction, the first thing you want to do is apply the rule of denominator and then the numerator, because it's easier to work out the number. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, comment below.